I got an order for a donut shop, and I noticed that the app mentioned something about a PIN, and I didn't know what this was, and neither did the customer by the time I dropped off the order. And keep in mind, this is on Uber Eats. The app told me to wait in the car, but also said I needed a PIN, so I was a bit confused. I called the customer, and she said there was no PIN code required to enter the apartment complex or building. So I had to call support to figure out how to complete this order without a PIN code. The idea does not make any sense to me at all. It seems as though Uber Eats wants us to make contact and interact with customers in order to deliver their food, even though we are still not over this pandemic. And please keep that in mind, everybody. Things are getting worse again. I prefer food delivery so I don't have to interact with customers. I then got another order from McDonald's, and the app told me to meet someone outside of another apartment building, and after I handed her the food, through my passenger window, she told me what the code was, so I put it in before I drove off to make sure there were no issues. This new feature makes no sense at all and just causes confusion and raises risks with all that's going on with food delivery. Uber Eats just needs to put an option in the app to allow the customers to simply click that they received their order within 5 minutes of the driver completing the delivery. Otherwise, the app will automatically mark the order as delivered, and the customer can't call in after the fact to attempt fraud. PIN codes are used for ATM cards, gate codes, and apartment building access, not for food delivery. Let me know if you agree with me or if the PIN code is a good idea. Thanks, Tom. So, Tom, you definitely hit the point of why the PIN codes exist. It's because of all the customer fraud of saying, I never got my order. The PIN code was that attempt to try and get to the bottom of it so that customers can't say, hey, I never got my order, because then it screws over the restaurant, it screws over the company, Uber, DoorDash, GrubHub, whoever, and it screws over the driver, of course, most importantly of all. So we only have these fraudulent customers to thank for this nonsense. I definitely agree with you that it's very confusing sometimes, especially for the customer, that this is a newer feature. Uber Eats, I believe, was the first to start this. So I give them credit for trying, but you're right. All that it's going to do is cause more confusion for the customer, for the driver, maybe even the restaurant for that matter. Okay. And yes, I agree for apartment codes, ATMs, gate codes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody know what movie that was from? Put it in the chat or the comments. But yes, I do agree. It's confusing. I wish there was another way to go about it. You did mention here as an idea, they need to put an option in the app to allow the customer to simply click that they received their order within 5 minutes of the driver completing the delivery. Otherwise, the app will automatically mark the order as delivered, and the customer can't call in after the fact to attempt fraud. I like that idea, and I think they should maybe try expanding on that kind of an idea. If they're listening, I don't know, or if they have that idea already. But the problem here is that the fraud is so easy to commit, and all of these customers have all these schemes of leaving orders at abandoned apartments and complexes and having someone wait inside and stuff. Like, it's crazy the kinds of lengths that they're going to get the free food, But, and look, I know it's going to be tough on these companies. I know it's going to be tough on drivers, but eventually something will be solidified to cut down on this. And I don't know if it's the PIN codes, but who knows? Because they're doing this now, it may start becoming the norm that you have to punch in a PIN code. Don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But, Tom, do I agree with you? Do I disagree with you? I guess I'm on the fence about it, because I do see the benefits of the PIN code, and I also see the cons of the PIN code as well, as you illustrated in your message here. So I think these companies have a little bit more work to do to find a way to cut down on the fraud, but I guess it's a start, So let's try and stay optimistic and see what happens next. So, Tom, thank you for the message, of course.